stopped working. Let's try that. Is it working now? Do we have sound? Hey, Linda. I think we're working. In the absence of anybody telling me that you can't hear me, I'm going to assume the best. I can see the little bar moving, so it should be working. Hey, Karen. I hope you're all well. It's been, ever have one of those days? It's been a very long day today. I finished work like 20 minutes ago, so it's been a bit crazy. But I am really glad to be here and to be crafting with you. I'm in my happy place. I've got some goodies that I'm going to play with. I've got an idea in my head that I want to get out of my head and share with you. So let's do this. Hey, Shona. All is well. Ah, oh, music to my ears. All is well. All is well. Right, let's flick this around. Let's turn on the Blackpool illuminations and let's get playing. So what I am planning tonight, so I'm going to be using this bundle out of the Spring Summer catalogue. It's called Everyday Arches. And we've got these fabulous stamps here. Know you're loved, you're simply fantastic. And then the dies that go with it. I am also going to be playing with these sequins. This is the Itty Bitty Bokeh Mix. Bokeh Mix. And I'm going to use the beautiful Bokeh Designer Series paper as well. So the first thing we need to figure out is what colour I'm going to do this in. So we've got, these are the colours in the papers. What have we got here? Balmy Blue, Berry Burst, Calypso Coral, Daffodil Delight, or Fresh Freesia. I'm thinking possibly Balmy Blue. I might do something with this little hot air balloon or the birds. Let's start with Balmy Blue. And I'm going to use the bokeh, the dotty side of it rather than the speckled side of things. I think I may change my mind. You agree with me, Linda? Blue is the way forward. Blue is what we shall do then. What I'm wanting to do today is what's known as the world's easiest shaker card. It is ridiculously easy and you're going to love this. So what I am going to do, so I've got my Balmy Blue. Let's get some thick Whisper White for the card base. So I'm going to do this card. Let's do it top opening. So standard A4 sheet of cardstock. I'm going to score at 14.8 and then I'm going to cut at 10.5. Oh, I'm just going to say a quick hello to everybody who's watching on YouTube or anybody who's watching on catch up. Thank you for being here and watching, even if you're not doing it live. It's perfectly fine. It's lovely when you are live because then I get to chat to you and you get to chat back. But it's very nice to have you on catch up as well. So thank you for being here. So I have got my card base. Then I'm going to get, let's do the shaker part of this just now. So I've got the clear medium envelopes here. And I want my piece of Designer Series paper to go into the back of my card base. So I'm going to trim this to 10 centimeters by 14.3. So that's basically the same size as my card blank, but with 1/2 centimetre off of both bits, so I've just got this white gap all the way around the edge. Hey Mum, glad you're here. I'm going to put this into my envelope. And I'm not going to glue it down yet because I'm just thinking. I have an idea. Don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to give it a try. Let's get a contrasting blue. What blue do we think is going to contrast well with Barmy Blue? I want a darker one. Maybe Misty Moonlight. Let's bring this out as an option. Or we've got Blueberry Bushel. Is that too bright? I think Azure Afternoon might be too bright. Let's just have a look at this. Actually, Azure Afternoon might be exactly what we need. Which of these blues do you think is going to go best with my Balmy Blue? That's it with Azure Afternoon. This might actually be the way forward, you know. Blueberry Bushel, not keen on. Misty Moonlight, I like, but I think it's too grey. You know what? Azure Afternoon is what we're going to go for. So let's get my Azure Afternoon ink. And I also want a clear block. I remembered everything else, but I forgot my blocks. Let's get that. One of these as well. Shona's agreeing with me on Azure. Thank you, Shona. I think it is the right choice to make. So I'm going to just pop that over there for a minute. And what I want to do here is You Are Simply Fantastic. Because so many people in my life are simply fantastic. I'm very fortunate to know so many fantastic people. Let's take this out. What I'm going to do is ink this up. Now this is a brand new stamp set that I have never used before. So before I stamp it on my DSP, I'm just going to test it on there. Yeah, that looks fine. Occasionally you get almost like a protective film that needs to be wiped off of your stamps. And if that's the case, you want to do it to stop any imperfections before you stamp. Right. There we go. You are simply fantastic. The way that you would clean off any protective film or get rid of any imperfections is just to clean your stamps the way you normally do. And the Stampin' Scrub is the best way to do that. So let's wipe that off. Put the clear block as well. I'm going to put this back into the case. I like lining them up with a bit inside so I don't get it lost. Next, I'm going to use these swallow pieces, and I think I'm going to do a couple of hot air balloons as well. So let's do the swallows first. Check and see which way they're supposed to be. I mean, swallows can fly upside down, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, but there we go. So we've got some swallows dotted around. I'm wondering about doing the hot air balloon in a different colour rather than doing it in the azure. Just have a look. The bouquet has kind of got some berry burst type colours in there, so I'm going to try berry burst for the hot air balloon. Let's see how this works. It's a lovely shade. I do love berry burst. And actually, looking at these two colours together, they go really well, berry burst and azure afternoon. Let's I'm going to do a third one. There we go. So you're simply fantastic with my birds in the background, my hot air balloons in the centre. Right, let's now trim this. So I'm going to do this to 14.8 by 10.5. So this is the same size as my card blank to fit over like that. But then you see I want this to fit behind it, and I want to do this arch piece. What size of arch do I need? Too big. Let's try the next one down. My brain is churning here. I think what I'm going to do is going to work, although something I've done is going to be a bit daft. It will make sense once I've done it. Worry not. Let's get my trusty cut and emboss. So let's put this down. So I've put my designer series paper on top of the card blank. I'm lining up the die where I want it to go. Then I'm going to hold the die in place but slide out the DSP. Okay. And then I'm going to cut. Hope that it hasn't moved massively. There we go. There we go. Right. Need to get my birds back out again. Back with my berry burst. What do you think of these colours? I'll be honest, I don't use Azure Afternoon very often. It's not one of my go-tos, but I like it with this paper. I think it's working well. There we go. Now, this observant of you will have noticed that the arch is not in the centre of the card layer. That's okay. I don't want it to be. I'm doing this on purpose. Ha ha ha. Right. Time to do some assembly. So, dimensionals at the ready. Oh, I haven't put that stamp away yet. Let's do that first. There we go. Right. What I want to do first is take my clear envelope and put my stamped DSP inside there. I'm going to tuck it right into the corner. Next, I'm going to use some of the Itty Bitty Bokeh mix, and I'm going to try not to get it absolutely everywhere, but I'm going to put some of it into the bag. That's probably plenty. Back in. Ooh, big pearl. Oh, it's not, it's two flat pearls stuck together. That's a lot better. Right, once I've put that in, I'm going to seal this up along the bottom. Seal it nice and tight. And then this piece, I'm going to fold over and stick down with tear tape, because the clear envelope is larger than my piece of designer series paper. Okay, so let's stick that down like so. There we go. So this is my shaker card element. You are simply fantastic. Next, I'm going to stick that to the front of my card blank. And I'm going to do that with tear tape. You could do it with Tombow, but it would slide around a lot and it would take a while to dry. So you are better using a dry glue rather than a wet glue. You could use a glue roller like the Stampin' Seal. I'm using tear tape because it's right here. And I'm going to put this onto the front of my card blank. Like so. There we go. And then I'm going to add this to the top as a frame over the top. Did you guess that was what I was going to do? Kept wondering, you know, can you tell what it is yet? And you're all sitting there going, yes, Emma, it was really obvious that this is what you were going to do. This is not a surprise at all. You're not that clever. I haven't seen this design, by the way. This isn't somebody else's that I'm casing. This came out of my head and I thought, this might be pretty. Let's give it a try. I just didn't know what colour I was going to do it in until I looked at the papers. Right. So now let's put this over with dimensionals over the top. And that's our card. What do you think? You're simply fantastic. I quite like how the berry burst hot air balloons kind of coordinate with the berry burst bokeh sequin. And I like the birds flying over the back as well. And it's white inside, so you can write in it really easily. So what do you think? Was that easy enough to do yourself? Was it too complicated? Did I make it too complicated by adding the frame over the top? Quite like that. See, now I'm wondering if there was a different way to do it. Let's try a different version, okay? Have another idea. Let's start this time with Berry Burst cardstock. Ooh, other people like it. Hey, Margaret, glad you're here. So for this one, I'm going to score at 10.5, and then I'm going to cut at 14.8. So I'm going to have standard card base. All right. You like this idea for shaker cards, Linda? It is a really, really easy way to make shaker cards, and it's one I'm quite fond of. So let's use the same size of aperture, and this time we're going to cut it out of the whole card blank rather than a layer that goes over the top. Okay, so slightly different take on the design. You think the frame makes it, Mum? Oh, thank you. Right, let's put my card blank in. Let's line up the frame. We'll try and put it more central this time onto the card. And let's push it through the cut and emboss. There we go. So easy to make your own aperture cards with cut and emboss in these dies, and I love these archway dies as well. I think they're really pretty. Let's just make sure that I've folded that correctly. Or should it have gone the other way around? Oh, well, it's this way around now. There we go. What's done is done. Let's have a look at my designer series paper. So you see, that's the Berry Burst one, but I feel like that behind that would be too dark. Maybe using the other side of it would be nice, or using the Fresh Freesia. Let's have a look at the Fresh Freesia. I think that could be a better option. Yeah, Fresh Freesia is absolutely the way to go here. So let's cut this to the size that we want. So I'm going to cut this to 10 inches by 14.3. There we go. So let's do the Know You Are Loved. I think that's quite a nice one. Although, will that fit? Should have checked this before I cut the aperture. Yeah, it will. It's fine. I'm going to do the Know You Are Loved one. So, just going to position it kind of where I want it to be. Close my card shut. Let's use the Berry Burst ink again. Let's just make sure that that's straight. It doesn't have to be straight, it just makes it neater once it's all stuck in and done. So let's now Know You Are Loved. Stamp that onto the DSP. Ooh, I've had an idea. Right. I was trying to think what I could put under the You Are Loved. And at first I thought of this heart-shaped die, which is one of the celebration freebies. But when you stick something onto the designer series paper and then turn it into a shaker card, you run the risk of bits getting stuck onto it. So I prefer to stamp, but we've got the heart. I think the heart could fit really. Will it fit? Just about. a bigger heart than I thought it was going to be. Let's see, so we've got that there. Know You Are Loved. I don't think it would work in Berry Burst, but we could do it in Fresh Freesia. I mean, it works upside down, but that's kind of defeats the purpose a bit. Do it at an angle, jaunty angle. What do we think? Let's try it in Fresh Freesia, see what it looks like. Because I do want to have something else in here. I could do a flower. That's an option as well. Actually, that might be a better option. Hold that thought, callers. Let's see what else I've got. Right. This might be an option. So this is the Memorable Blooms. You thinking Fresh Freesia, Mum? For the heart, let's see if we put that. So if we've got the Know You're Loved, no, that's far too big. Far too big. It does need something there. It really does. We've got these hot air balloons, not hot air balloons. You know, let's use the balloons. And if we do, oh, I know what we're going to do. I know what we're going to do. I have a solution, guys. Worry not. So we're using the bunch of balloons from the Spring Corners stamp set. And let's get my Berry Burst back out again. So if we've put this in the centre, you were saying Fresh Freesia for the DSP, Mum. I understand. Thank you. Right. So let's ink up the balloons. And we're going to do that. But then we're going to stamp again. Stamp again. And stamp again. So we've got this thing of balloons in the centre. And then I'm going to use my Wink of Stella. Now with my Berry Burst ink pad, if I squeeze in the middle, I'm going to end up with a little bit of ink in the lid. And then I'm going to use my Wink of Stella, which, goodness, it's a brand new Wink of Stella, I think. And I'm going to drip some drops of Wink of Stella into that bit on the lid. And then I'm going to use my Wink of Stella brush to colour in the balloons. You can see I am not an expert painter, but you don't have to be. I'm doing them, I'm trying to do them in different depths of colour as well, so that some of them are paler, some of them are darker. So you just get this balloon medley thing going on. And then with my brush, I'm just wiping it backwards and forwards so it's clear again now. And then I've ended up with that tiny little thing there. And then I do have a tissue in my pocket, which I'm just going to use to wipe off that excess bit of ink. If it was just ink, I would leave it, but it's not just ink, it's ink and Wink of Stella. And I don't want my Berry Burst to be forever glittery. Don't get me wrong, glitter is fabulous, but Ooh, the small flower in the die set. In this one, the heart shaped you're talking about. I think I'm going to leave it with just the balloons that I've got for just now. Although looking at again the Everyday Arches one, you've got that little like star type piece. So I think we could add that in. That would look nice. We'll do that in our berry burst. Actually, instead of doing it on the DSP, let's do it on our frame. Just to give it a bit of interest around the edges. There we go. I like that. Let's just quickly clean off my stamps. The way I always clean my stamps, you'd think I was this obsessively clean and tidy person. Cue uproarious laughter from everybody who knows me, especially my mother. Because for those who don't know me, I am not an obsessively clean and tidy person. Not by a long shot. There we go. Put that one back. Let's just pop this stamp back as well. And then we'll finish off our Berry Burst card. Right. So, same as before. Now, I'm saying same as before. But are we gonna... Yeah, same as before. Well, no, we're not going to do it the same as before. Last time, we put our DSP into the envelope and sealed it behind. This time, I'm going to seal it to the front. Bye, Mum. Speak to you later. I will send you that text message. So, I've put it in. I'm sealing it to the front. It will make sense in a minute why. Okay. So let's add in my sequins. There we go. Let's put the lid on. Escapee sequins can go inside the envelope. There we go. Right. Now, when I look at the envelope, I've got that sticky piece that's along there. I'm actually going to use my scissors and trim off the excess flap. So I'm taking it right to the edge of that sticky piece. Okay. This will all make sense in a minute. Okay. And then I'm going to fold that up the way. All right. What I want to do is make sure that this is kind of hidden so that we can't see the flap. If I had put the flap on the reverse, then when you opened up the card, you would see all the backing pieces. You're not going to see it this way. So I'm going to fold this in this way as well and hide it behind the frame, like so. So you're not going to see it. Now, because I'm doing it that way, let's get my tear tape. And I'm going to stick down this excess flap, like so. Then I'm going to put the tear tape on my card like so. And I'm probably putting it closer to the aperture than I am to the edge of the card. I want to make sure it sticks in place. Let's pull this off. And now this is going to stick on here. So that's the other beauty of tear tape. It's actually quite forgiving. Although I'm noticing, see, there's a tiny little gap down there at the bottom that sequins are coming out of. I don't want sequins coming out of that. So let's, because I didn't fold it around the back and I folded it to the front, and the sequins are at the front, I've got just that extra little risk. So I'm going to put some more tear tape on here just to hold that in place. It's not going to be seen when I stick it down, she says, hopefully and optimistically. Just occurs to me, Mum's saying, you know, happy anniversary for tomorrow. I really should have spent tonight making a wedding anniversary card for my husband, shouldn't I? That would have been a good idea. Oh well. Let's stick this down. This could be that card, to be fair. There we go. So, know you are loved with the balloons and the sequins and easy shaker card. And on the inside, it looks quite pretty there as well. So there you have it. These have been our 2 cards for today. So we did the Azure Afternoon one first, You're Simply Fantastic, with the basic white card blank. And then we did the Berry Burst, Know You Are Loved, with the balloons and the sequins. Both of them shaker cards, both of them using the Everyday Arches stamps and dies. Do you have a favourite? Do you prefer the Azure Afternoon and the Balmy Blue? Or do you prefer the Berry Burst and the Fresh Freesia? Balloons on one side, hot air balloons on the other. What do you think? Right, that is me for this evening. I hope you have enjoyed today's projects. I am always around to answer any questions you may have. And if there's anything I can help with, you know how to reach out to me. So yeah, have a great evening, everyone. Take care. Bye.